been amazing. It's great. I'm learning a lot. There's more to learn.
Mate, who was that woman talking just then? I have got no idea. Let's have another look at her. She rings a bell.
Another hallway. It's never ending. It's interesting because, Remedy is super busy creating this game.
She's really gorgeous. She must work at Remedy or something. What a shame we didn't get her in the game.
And so they have been really wonderful to let me come and visit and explore. But everyone has been so busy creating.
It's like a weird spike as well at this part of the video. I just can't fathom why that's there. I am Couch Coop. This is my control review on the PS5.
There's been people here all day and there's nobody here.
Fully ray traced and entirely in quality mode. I didn't get that pleasure for the PC review, didn't have a big enough rig, and that almost got 1,000 views. So thank you very much. I feel it applicable to put this PlayStation 5 review out. I kind of want to get every half decent PlayStation 5 reviewed on the channel, so we've got it all as a nice big index that no one will look at. They will, Coop. They'll see that it's you. They'll know the game. They'll be like, oh, let's see what this guy's got to say about it. Even though I've listened to other creators on the subject. Sorry. No more jokes. Remedy are in a bit of a weird place. They came out strong with Alan Wake. Okay, it was an awesome story, narrative-driven, amazing third-person action ARPG. That's what the A stands for. You don't need to say ARPG, just RPG. They then cut off all of their relationships with Sony and went forward with an exclusive, which was called... fucking hell, I can't even remember it. Quantum Break, that's how big of an impact it had on the gaming sphere. But that's a bit harsh. It wasn't terrible. There's loads of Quantum in Control, but not a lot of people played Quantum, so they weren't really to know that. And that's not a dig. Because of its exclusivity, it really didn't get to the audience I think it was intended for. After Quantum came Control, and this was followed up by a game called Alan Wake 2. Now, Alan Wake 2 came out months ago, over 3 months ago, and it wasn't physical for the PlayStation 5. Loads of AAA developers seem to be doing this at the moment, and I don't have time for it. It won't go on the channel until they produce a physical copy, because I'm sick of throwing money at digital games that I won and done, can't trade in. They go and sit on an older system. You should see what I've got on the PlayStation 4. Thousands of pounds that is just sat there gathering digital dust. Few games get that digital accolade with me. Monster Hunter Rise is one of the few that I unequivocally will have on my hard drive, just because it's damned awesome. You'll always need it, and I can never see myself wanting to trade something like that in. The same really goes for World and anything that Capcom do. No, this is getting out of hand. You guys know what I'm getting at with this. Certain choices need to be made, and a brand new game that has got very mixed messages around it. Alan Wake 2 doesn't sound like it's politically centered. The guy that runs Remedy, as much as I like seeing his face everywhere all the time on everything, it reminds me a little bit of what I call Shyamalan complex. M. Night Shyamalan forces his way into all of his films in a compulsory role, and I feel so bad for everyone involved in the film, on set, all the actors. It's a little bit like being at a massive party that this idiot's put on, and he just rocks up to all the conversations. But you know what I mean? It's his party, so he gets to annoy everyone. I get this vibe with this Sam Lake. I just had to Google his name as well.
The white non-space, the ever-present inverted Black Pyramid.
Have you played Alan Wake 2? Do you think the procurement of this game should be urgent for me? I'm very much in two minds, and I very much see no connective tissue between the first and second games. I'll tell you something for nothing. The first game introduces you to this like small town, and you're like a writer, this huge Stephen King stink. Anyway, you listen to a song by Roy Orbison. It plays to you in the opening 45 minutes of the game. It's a song called In Dreams. Roy Orbison's really famous for the Pretty Woman song, and if you're like a musical normie, you'd probably just think that was all he ever did, or he was like a crap Elvis. The In Dreams song is one of the most vocally difficult classic pop songs to ever recreate or sing. It's a piece of genius. It's a masterpiece, nothing short of. And being introduced to it for the first time at the start of Alan Wake, and the way it locked into its storyline, just blew me away. It was a watershed moment. It made me realise how powerful, well-chosen or decent music is in a situation within a video game. BioShock did it, Fallout 3 did it, and loads of other games are still doing it today. I try and recreate that magic with some of my trailers. I fail miserably and get demonetized and no views, but the effort's there. Do you guys remember me looking at this board on the PC review? It looked like it was made of paper mache. You couldn't make out any of the puzzle answers. It completely ruined the entire section. We are not suffering from that here.
1 second remaining. Course failed. Try again, Ranger.
Fuck you, awkward voice recording.
Yeah, Jesse knows that assault course is ridiculous. It's a hell of a spike. If you get that first attempt, I want you to put it in the comments, and I'll obviously believe you. So just back to that Alan Wake thing quickly. The pedestal that I have Alan Wake 1 on is so high that I just don't think Alan Wake 2 will come even remotely close. Probably my best bet is to look at that remaster. Can you give me some advice on that? So this could be peak Remedy. That's what I'm thinking. I could put that in the thumbnail as some sort of derogatory clickbaity thing. The current YouTube thumbnail situation we're in is absolutely hilarious. 25 years, they're going to be like NFTs. People are going to go, look at this, someone made this with these colours, with the eyes enlarged and the mouth open. It really is the human race not making itself look good. And talking of looking good, mate, you are never going to get away with that. You've been moaning for 7 minutes and you're only getting to the game we're actually playing. The quality mode didn't initially blow me over because I was so used to those locked 60 frames per second and that ultra that you can put it on PC, but the ray tracing was taken out for me. I had these like minimal reflections. Some of the smoke and dust just didn't look that great, and that's really what this game is playing on. Absolutely amazing dissipation physics and a force-like action. It looks absolutely incredible. It's what sold everybody on the trailers, and the dissipation rocks and broken pieces of wood and paper floating around everywhere makes you realise, yeah, pure 9th gen. But you do not get a pegged frame rate. It is 90% on top of things, but there are areas where you're like, crikey, this is certainly not a pegged 30, which is, I assume, what that quality mode is running at, because I think we nearly have 4K. When you go over to performance, it removes those ray trace reflections or anything else, bells, whistles that were put on for that quality mode. And it's insufferable. It's like, okay, I've got a good running game, but I've got none of this awesomeness we had in the other modes. In the previous video I spoke at length about the game's influences as far as I was concerned. Stuff like Lost, stuff like early Stranger Things, astral projection, all that cool dark mind control, crossing the void, something weird on the other side. All of that is rolled perfectly into Control's storyline. However, I have nearly finished the game and I am not over the moon with how things are wrapping up. I think this game kind of peaks first quarter, mid-level. Once you get flying and all that other stuff's added, something is taken away from me. I feel OP and not strapped down, both literally and figuratively. But I'm going to show you a bit of footage now where just about every window, table, chair, wall, brick, floor, ceiling gets involved in dissipation, and it was a jaw-dropping moment for me. Sometimes these quality modes do actually look good. It also puts you under a time limit, Kosh, on some of the major levels that happen after you receive the majority of your powers. And this is okay, but it sort of takes away that observer thing where you can't just hang around, soak up the atmosphere. You just got to rattle through and kill everything as efficiently as possible. Also sucks away all of the power from your weapon to force you to use the projectile system. But this is only for a major chunk coming up after the flyer power is introduced. Flying just didn't feel as natural as I thought it would. Even Anthem pulls it off a little bit better. It's supposed to be a perk for your combat, but you end up just wrestling with it or completely forgetting about it because you're so knuckled down to getting cover or dealing with something that's based on the ground. And also the enemies don't switch to airborne either, other than the kamikaze dudes, so you're still dealing with stuff on the ground. Brief disclaimer, the kamikaze was a reference to Godzilla -1. Strongly recommend you watch that film ASAP. Control is far from the performance disappointment I thought it was going to be over on 9th gen consoles after playing loads of it on PC. You've only got to look at my Prey review or even Dragon Age Inquisition to see how bad some of these 9th generation console games can actually look. I am well aware that those two aforementioned are not on SSD, but most of them barely reach 4K and 60 frames per second, which is weird considering Xbox get a lot better deal on a lot more of that stuff.
Everyone has been so busy creating for all of you guys.
Who is that woman? Did we ever find out? I was, of course, Couch Coop, and as you can tell, I'm pretty fed up with the state of the platform at the moment. If you've watched me before, never click that button. Now is seriously the time. I will see you down there.